Ever since 207 began, we have been interviewing candidates running for major office in our state. Tonight, we are joined by Joe Baldacci. He is running for the Democratic nomination for Congress in the 2nd District. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, good to see you. So if elected, one of your priorities will be protecting Medicaid and Medicare. And you claim that this can be done without taxing benefits, raising the retirement age, or cutting programs. Where would that money come from?
Well, we need to look at, first of all, the big beautiful bill sends billions of dollars to people to trillionaires or billionaires who don't need it. We need to change our priorities. Somehow we have the money to pay for a war in Iran, which is 200 or 300 billion, but we don't have money to take care of people's health insurance. I think jobs, health insurance, education are the keystones of our economy. And I think we need to reset our priorities and spend the money on investing in people. And we're wasting money on wars, on tariffs, and on tax cuts for the rich.
Are you saying that some of that money would come from the Department of Defense to pay for this?
I'm saying the Department of Defense won't need as much money if they are not engaged in multiple wars. The current request by the president for a 50% increase should be dead on arrival in the House of Representatives.
Life is expensive for everyone right now,
yes,
especially families. The cost of groceries, cost of gas, it's all up. You want to expand the child tax credit and provide a monthly stipend to families with children. Where would you make cuts in order to pay for something like that?
Well, again, I don't think you necessarily need to make cuts to other domestic programs. I think we need to increase taxes on the rich. They are not paying a fair share, and I'm talking about the ultra rich, need to pay more. But we need to set our priorities right. We need to not spend money on wars, on tariffs, on tax cuts for the rich, and we would have plenty of money to invest in young families looking for a little bit of support as they build their family, build their, their home, either through, renting or buying a home. I think it's really important to help young families with kids. And I think we can do that by just reordering our priorities and recognizing that people come first, American people come first, that wars and tariffs and tax cuts for the rich don't work.
One recent event that is fueling soaring prices is the war in Iran. President Trump initially said the conflict would only last a couple weeks. We're now entering the 3rd month. There's still fighting happening, still no deal made. Is there anything Congress can do to lower the price of gas?
Well, Congress could do things to lower the price of gas, but it would only be a temporary fix. What Congress could really do to help the American consumer would be to stop the war and to stop spending our money there. The war has achieved no discernible American national security interest. I don't think it's been explained to the public why we're there and what we are fighting for and how we're going to achieve it. Because right now the situation in the Middle East is worse than it was before we started this war.
And you think
the prices, when I went to the gas station this morning, the price of gas was over $4 a gallon.
And you think by ending the war, that would reverse some of what we're seeing with prices for gas?
That would reverse at least $1 a gallon, because that's where it started from. And opening the Strait of Hormuz and not having a war in the Middle East, yes, it would have a major impact on both the price of gas and on the stability of our economy.
We know the price of goods goes hand in hand with the cost of energy. Right now, the U.S. is doing its part to lower energy costs by boosting domestic fossil fuel production and accelerating clean energy deployment. Do you support this, or do you see a better plan?
I am an all of the above on energy. I worked with Republicans in the state Senate to protect all kinds of fuel sources from being banned by individual municipalities because we didn't need 400 energy policies. So I believe in an all of the above approach because I think, one, we can achieve our green goals, but still make it affordable for consumers.
Are there any changes that you would like to make to federal gun laws, or are you satisfied with what is on the books?
I am generally satisfied with what is on the books. However, I think that the prohibition on felons having guns needs to be much better enforced. There needs to be more enforcement on that. I think that there's a lot of headway we could make in that area, but that wouldn't require a new law. That would require just more enforcement and more people, going after felons who have guns. I think that's an area we haven't enforced our laws hard enough on.
You mentioned making those who have a lot of money pay their fair share. You would also like to be able to make large corporations to pay their fair share when it comes to taxes. This is something we hear a lot from candidates, and if it were easy to do, it would be done. How would you accomplish something like this?
In terms of raising taxes?
For corporations.
So I think we need to look at the whole structure. There are a lot of corporations that don't pay taxes, and that shouldn't be acceptable. And I think that there are corporations that get write-offs for things that have no discernible economic benefit. Those would have to be reviewed, and we'd have to reform the corporate laws so that every corporation pays some sort of tax. And I'm not talking about the small mom and pop stores. I worked in a small business as a kid, and I have a small business. But I'm talking about the mega corporations, the multinational corporations who come here for purely profit. We need to make sure they pay their fair share.
All right, last question. Super quick
Sure.
answer because we only have a little bit of time. We know that the need for housing is growing every day. On top of that, just buying a home that's already there, super, super expensive. What, if anything, can the federal government do to make housing more affordable?
Just to go over a couple of things that I've supported just in the last couple of weeks is more money for building affordable housing, extending the tax credit for the building of affordable housing by contractors, increasing the amount of money to assist renters to stay in their homes. There's a whole variety of things we've done at the state level, improving the loan system at the Maine State Housing. We need to, one, bring down prices. At the national level, we need to bring down prices. We need to stabilize the economy, and then we'll have lower interest rates.
And we got to leave it at that.
Okay,
Joe
this is
Baldacci,
great.
thank you so much.
Thank
Good
you.
to see you.
Nice to see
You
you.
can read more about Joe and his campaign on our website and app. Stay with us. 207 is back right after this.